And then you and Mia are going to sing, Look the Other Way. So we'll go, that's what you get.
Look the other way.
Perfect, thank you. Blessed are the dead. Die in der Herren sterben, which die in the Lord. From now on. Ja, der Geist spricht. Yea, saith the Spirit. Dass sie ruhen, that they may rest. Von ihrer Arbeit, from their labors. Denn ihre Werke folgen nicht nach. And their works do follow. You are who I love. You who listens to the same story as many times as necessary until the wounded no longer need to tell it.
That's what you get. I said to myself a few months ago when I discovered that my great-great-great-great-great-grandparents had been killed in a so-called Indian raid.
You are who I love. You sipping PBR at the Knights of Columbus Hall. You sniffing hops and hot doughy pretzels at the state fair.
When I called to tell my sister the story, without any prompting from me, she said, that's what you get.
You are who I love. You warming milk, honey, and turmeric for your daughter. You hoisting one child to your hip, the other child nestling in your belly.
In the history of Wyoming Valley from 1845, Charles Milner wrote an account of the raid. On the 3rd of July, 1781, a bloody and most melancholy tragedy was enacted on the road leading from Wyoming to the Delaware at Stroudsburg. Mr. Learned, an aged man, and his wife and their son George were shot and scalped near their house. Another son, John, shot an Indian, who was left dead on the spot where he fell. The savages carried off George Learned's wife and an infant 4 months old. But not choosing to be encumbered by the child, they dashed out its brains. Being pursued, they abandoned the horses and plunder taken, and left the old man's scalp behind.
That's what you get.
You are who I love. You who got pulled over, pushed to the curb, and searched for a taillight that wasn't busted. You are who I love. You who opened up your kitchen when the entire building lost power. You sauteing cebolla y ají for kimbombo.
Our ancestors were born in Bavaria. Grandpa Johannes Martinus Lerner in 1719, and Grandma Katharina Maria Habenschuss in 1730. Persecuted as Anabaptists, they fled Germany in the 1840s. In 1850, they established a tavern in what is now Tannersville, Pennsylvania, and they raised 9 children in what back then was the farthest outpost of white settlement, the last building on the frontier. They were pacifists and abolitionists, but colonizers all the same.
That's what you get.
unyielding pew just ahead. You who points at the airport gate with your busted up high school French and says, "C'est là," to help a lost Haitian woman. You who calls every woman she loves Mimi.
The learners were a casualty of the American Revolution. Early in the war, the British elites made allies, the British Army made allies with the Six Nations of the Iroquois. The citizens of those nations called themselves the Haudenosaunee. These allies would raid the white settlements of the Americans and deprive the American Continental Army of food and shelter.
Look the other way.
You're who I love. You who ties a scarf around your neck for a little color because the day is better faced with carmine, gold, magenta. You sitting at the sea with your daughter telling dog tales about the one who just got put down. You braiding a confused aunt's hair, kneading oil into her scalp with the heel of your hand. You polishing your great-great-grandfather's shoeshine box and filling it with music.
In 1779, the governor of New York warned George Washington that New York's frontier would be pushed back to the Hudson if these raids were not stopped. So Washington ordered Major General John Sullivan to lead 4,500 Revolutionary soldiers on a campaign to destroy the villages and food supplies of the Cayuga and Seneca nations.
Look
The other way.
You are who I love. You listing off your mother's medications and allergies to the nurse. You sliding from car to wheelchair, knowing it is locked safely in place. You calling the insurance company again and again, resolving not to yell at the person on the other end of the line. You slipping into temple, head bowed, smile sly. You who always knew you never wanted children, and there is no but or because at the end of that sentence. You are who I love.
On June 18, 1779, Sullivan and his soldiers camped at Lern Tavern, my great-great-great-great-great-great-grandparents' inn. Then the soldiers cut a road through the wilderness to the heart of the Haudenosaunee territory. In early August, they began the campaign by destroying the village of Chemung. By the end of Sullivan's march, the Continental Army had destroyed 40 villages and forced 5,000 Haudenosaunee people to seek refuge with the British Army at Fort Niagara. This ended the independence of the Six Nations of the Haudenosaunee forever.
Look
The other way.
You are who I love. You massaging your friend's mother's feet as her last breaths purple and stumble. You eating meatloaf on Thursday because we don't celebrate the white man's holiday. You taking a bus to Randall's Island because you slept on pavement for 3 months. You leaving Randall's Island with a hotel voucher, y ganas de vencer.
George Washington ordered the Sullivan expedition to end Indian raids on the settlements. But the raids did not end. In a letter from 1781, a local military official identifies one of my ancestors' attackers as a Haudenosaunee man who had lived in Chemung, the first village Sullivan destroyed.
That's what you get. Look the other way.
You are who I love, you who listens to the same story as many times as necessary until it no longer needs to be told.
That's what you get. Look the other way.
their works do follow them.